Welcome. Learning Science Goes Online is a series of short videos in which we analyze key findings from the education research literature and then connect those to the practice of designing and teaching online courses. In this video, we're going to look at what the science of learning tells us about course design, in particular the use of discussion and interactions between students and instructors in online courses. I want to start with a whole class of studies that look at how students engage with courses and compare that with their completion status in courses. I'm going to show you just one example of such a study. In this graph here, we can see in 4 different courses, they compared those who completed the course and those who did not complete the course. And you can see that those who did complete the course visited more pages, and they also found that they spent more time in the course, watched more videos, etc. Now, this isn't really surprising. In my more uncharitable moments, I've been known to refer to these types of studies as the studies that show that doing things is predictive of doing things. And so we really want to know more about course design. This type of study can tell us, yes, we do want to encourage students to use courses more, but how do we design courses to encourage their achievement and completion of courses? So in this video, I'm going to be looking at what features of courses are associated with completion or achievement. And there aren't as many studies that investigate course design as those that investigate student activity in courses. But we have found one good example that I'm going to share here. In this particular study, there was an investigation of students enrolled in courses at a community college. These are all online courses with about 700 students total, many different courses and subjects. And what they investigated was the association of the final course grade with 4 different design factors in the course. And these design factors were rated on a 3-point rubric from lowest to highest use of these particular design elements. First of all, organization and presentation. Was it easy to find your way around the course, to know what to do next, to know where the syllabus was in the course, for example? Learning objectives and assessments. Are learning objectives clearly given in the course? Are there assessments in the course? How do these align with the learning objectives? Interpersonal interaction. This is interaction of students with each other in discussion boards and interactions of students and instructors. And finally, the use of technology. And in particular, in this study, this meant the use of technology in a way that was aligned with the learning objectives of the course. This study does have some important limitations. First of all, it's done in a community college setting, so we can't necessarily extrapolate to all other online education. Secondly, we're looking at correlations here. So a course that is better in one of these areas may well be better in other areas. And an investment in, for example, the use of technology could indicate that an instructor is just more engaged in creating a high-quality learning experience. So we have to be careful about drawing causal conclusions from a study like this. And then finally, this was a very coarse scale, a 3-point scale used to rate each of these 4 design factors. So we're getting a very high-level overview of the influence of these factors on learning outcomes. And I think that's probably a good thing, because then we know that if you're going to invest time in one of these 4 categories, a study like this could tell you that by spending more time investing in that particular area, you can, in fact, improve students' achievement. And the 2 areas where there was a correlation between the rubric score and students' final grades were interpersonal interaction and the use of technology. And we're going to look more closely at interpersonal interaction. So the authors found that interaction does promote students' achievement. And that's represented in this graph here. We can see on the x-axis we have the 3 different categories of interaction. On the y-axis we can see the student's grade on a GPA scale. And this is the final grade in the course. So you can see that while in courses that had the lowest amount of interaction, students' grades were quite low, about a 2 out of 4 on a GPA scale. In the highest amount of interaction, the grades were closer to a 3 out of 4 on the GPA scale. And this is a pretty substantial effect. So this means that more interaction between students and more interaction between students and instructors does seem to be associated with higher grades. So we do have some specific recommendations for instructors based upon this study. First of all, it's probably a good idea to use discussion forums in your courses. But then the devil is in the details. How do you want to implement these discussion forums? I would suggest that you require participation in the forums so that students are engaging in this learning activity that is associated with better outcomes. Secondly, I would really encourage students to interact with each other by perhaps requiring students to post on each other's posts. And then finally, it's a good idea to set really clear quality expectations. It should be clear what a good post actually is. So a post such as "I agree" or a one-sentence post isn't really of the same quality as an analysis of a question that cites specific evidence and provides reasoning for the answer given. And then I think it's always a good idea for the instructor to participate in the forums so that you are seen in the course. And this is called instructor presence in the education research literature. And then finally, I would strongly recommend considering synchronous sessions in which you're meeting with students over video conference so that they can be engaged with each other and with you. They can keep up with deadlines in the course this way, and it builds a stronger sense of community in the course. Thanks for watching. You're free to reuse this video for internal training in your school, but please do not reuse it for any commercial purposes.